You think you know Gucci Mane? Think again. The man walking around today might not even be him. Rumors have been swirling for years that the real Gucci died in prison, and what came out was a clone. His transformation was so sudden, so perfect, fans can't tell if it's redemption or something far darker. And now Nicki Minaj is calling out his wife, claiming she's not just a spouse, she's a handler, controlling every move of this so-called Gucci. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you thought you knew about the rapper's life, prison, and the secret world behind the music industry. When Gucci was finally sentenced, the world seemed to go quiet for a while. He spent his time behind bars largely out of the public eye, though occasional reports suggested that he was getting therapy, exercising daily, and attending recovery meetings. Insiders claimed that prison had humbled him, while others insisted it had rebuilt him from the ground up. Still, even among his loyal fans, few could have predicted the transformation that would follow. When he walked out of prison 2 years later, the world gasped. Gone was the bloated, hard-living rapper with slurred speech and glazed eyes. In his place stood a lean, chiseled, sharply dressed man with a fresh smile and calm energy. His speech was clearer, his movements more precise, and his demeanor shockingly composed. For many, it was a powerful redemption story, proof that self-discipline and sobriety could turn anyone's life around. But for others, it was too perfect, too sudden, too clean. That's when the Gucci clone theory took off like wildfire. Fans began posting side-by-side photos comparing his tattoos, facial structure, and voice tone before and after prison. Some noticed that a small face tattoo seemed slightly higher. Others swore his jawline was sharper and his accent subtly altered. Within weeks, Gucci clone trended across social media, and YouTube channels dedicated entire episodes to dissecting the alleged evidence. And then came Hopsin's bizarre confession. Known for his eccentric style and anti-industry rants, the rapper went live one night claiming he'd been coerced into becoming Gucci's double. The internet went wild. Though most people dismissed it as trolling or performance art, a few die-hard conspiracy theorists latched on, saying his nervous tone and scattered delivery were proof he was telling the truth. He even described a strange white room where government-type agents allegedly showed him a Gucci body suit. It sounded insane, yet it fed directly into a long-running narrative that powerful entities control artists through cloning, manipulation, and psychological conditioning. Gucci himself tried to diffuse the tension. In interviews, he laughed about the rumors, saying, "I morphed into a better man. I dropped weight, dropped bad habits, dropped old energy." But even that statement fueled speculation. Some fans argued he was admitting to having been reborn in a more literal sense, while others said he was simply using metaphor to describe personal growth. Then Nicki Minaj reignited the conversation. After Gucci and his wife Kesha appeared on The Breakfast Club and brought up Nicki's name, she fired back online, not just defending herself, but dropping bombshell claims that Kesha was actually a handler. In the coded language of celebrity conspiracy circles, a handler is someone allegedly assigned to manage a clone or control an artist who's been psychologically programmed. Nicki implied that Kesha's entire marriage was part of a larger operation designed to keep Gucci compliant, quiet, and disconnected from his past life. Her tweets caused chaos. Fans rushed to find old interviews, dissecting Kesha's body language for clues. Some claimed she seemed nervous whenever Gucci was asked personal questions, even whispering responses to him mid-interview. Others pointed out that Gucci rarely appeared with old friends or collaborators after his release, the same people who once populated his social circle before prison. Meanwhile, Gucci's ex-girlfriend added gasoline to the fire with her own live stream, insisting, "That ain't the real Gucci. Y'all think you know him, but you don't." She even released a diss track accusing Kesha of keeping secrets and covering up the truth about what happened behind bars. The track, raw and emotional, climbed quickly through underground rap blogs, sparking more debate than ever. At that point, the story had become something bigger than Gucci himself. It was a reflection of the public's growing suspicion toward fame, image control, and how drastically an artist can change once the industry gets involved. To some, it was a cautionary tale about addiction and redemption. To others, it was proof that there are powerful forces in entertainment capable of erasing and replacing those who no longer fit the mold. And that's where Nicki's latest moves come in. If she really intends to release more details about Kesha, about the clone program, about who's pulling the strings, she's stepping into dangerous territory. People who expose too much about the inner workings of the industry have often found themselves silenced, discredited, or mysteriously retired. Whether she's exaggerating or truly knows something deeper, her warnings are making everyone sit up and pay attention. Because whether the Gucci clone theory is fact or fantasy, it has touched a nerve. It's about control, transformation, and truth. And in an era where nothing feels real anymore, the line between conspiracy and reality has never been thinner. Gucci Mane was sentenced to 3 years behind bars, but due to good behavior, he ended up serving only 2. Prison turned out to be a turning point for him. During that time, he finally confronted something he had been running from for years: his addiction. After countless denials, Gucci opened up publicly, sharing an honest and emotional message on Twitter that caught everyone off guard. "I woke up in a hospital bed feeling ashamed and embarrassed about my behavior," he wrote. "I want to apologize to my family, my friends, the industry, and especially my fans. I've been drinking lean for over 10 years and it's destroyed me. I'm addicted, and that's no joke. I can barely remember the things I've done and said, but I take full responsibility. I'm currently incarcerated, but I'll be going to rehab because I need help. Please keep me in your prayers." That confession marked a major shift in Gucci's story. By the time he walked out of prison, he was nearly unrecognizable, in the best way possible. The once heavy, erratic rapper emerged looking lean, fit, and mentally sharper than ever before. His voice sounded more composed, his presence more focused. But not everyone believed the transformation was natural. Almost immediately, whispers began spreading online. Was this really Gucci Mane, or someone else entirely? Conspiracy theories exploded, claiming that the real Gucci had died in prison and been replaced with a clone. The rumor reportedly started with inmates who had served time alongside him, and from there, the internet ran wild with it. The situation only intensified when rapper Hopsin fueled the fire by joking, then later seemingly admitting on Instagram that he was Gucci's clone. According to his bizarre story, government agents had allegedly threatened his family unless he agreed to take Gucci's place after his supposed death. Hopsin even described being led into an all-white room where he was shown a Gucci bodysuit, claiming it was part of some larger cover-up tied to secret societal agendas. And just when people thought the theory couldn't get any stranger, Gucci's ex-girlfriend, Mac Brazy, jumped into the conversation. During an Instagram live session, she claimed outright that Gucci had died in prison and been replaced. She said that when she saw him after his release, he looked like a completely different man, and that when she confronted his wife, Keisha Coer, about it, Keisha brushed her off like it was nonsense. Mac didn't stop there either. Just recently, she dropped a full diss track accusing Keisha of covering up Gucci's alleged cloning and acting as his handler. The song reignited online debates and made the old rumors trend once again, with fans and skeptics dissecting every lyric and every photo for hidden clues. Whether you believe the clone theory or not, one thing is undeniable. Gucci Mane's transformation was so dramatic that it blurred the line between personal growth and public myth. His comeback became more than a redemption story. It became a cultural mystery that refuses to fade away. Girl, you don't even know the real Gucci. That's how one of Gucci Mane's former associates opened her explosive rant online. According to her, the man the world sees today isn't the same Gucci Mane she once knew. "The last time I saw Gucci in person was back in 2010 at Patchwork Studios," she said. "Cold-Blooded was there. Was Mojo there? Yeah, I think Mojo was there too. Even then, something about him felt off. It just didn't feel right." Her words struck a chord because for years, rumors have circulated that the Gucci Mane who emerged from prison in 2016 was somehow different. Some fans chalked it up to self-improvement. Others whispered something more sinister. The real Gucci had died in prison and been replaced by a clone. When those whispers eventually reached Gucci himself, he finally addressed the allegations. His response wasn't defensive, it was reflective. "In a way, I feel like I grew," Gucci explained. "I kind of morphed into a different person, shedding some of my old ways. I can say I grew up. I love the person I was. I love the person I am. And I love the person I grew to be. I tried to lose weight. I tried to take care of myself, change my thinking, my environment, and the people who weren't benefiting me." Gucci was framing it as a story of personal transformation, weight loss, mental clarity, healthier habits, and a renewed focus on family and career. But the transformation was so dramatic that many fans refused to accept it as legitimate. Overnight, social media exploded with theories, screenshots, and fan-made comparisons between pre-prison and post-prison Gucci. Every new photo, interview, or appearance became a supposed clue in the ongoing mystery. Then, just when the narrative seemed to stabilize, Nicki Minaj stepped in, and the storm became a hurricane. Nicki entered the conversation with a claim that could make any conspiracy theorist's jaw drop. She alleged that Gucci's wife, Keyshia Ka'oir, was not simply a spouse but actually a paid handler. The context for Nicki's revelation came during Gucci and Keyshia's appearance on The Breakfast Club, where Keyshia brought up Nicki, claiming she hadn't given Gucci enough credit for her career success. Nicki wasn't here for it. On Twitter, she fired back with a series of statements that left the internet reeling. Gucci's wife has been trying to be me for years, been dying for the spotlight for years. She's there to keep Gucci sedated. Charlemagne the Fraud is Jay-Z's friend and business associate, using iHeartRadio for these disgusting PR attacks against innocent families. He was around Wendy Williams before her life went to hell. The buck stops here, baby. Bookmark this tweet. She accused Keyshia of controlling Gucci in ways fans had only speculated about, feeding him substances, controlling what he said in interviews, and managing his public persona to protect unspecified higher-ups. Nicki even suggested that the same mechanisms allegedly used against Wendy Williams, Charlemagne's influence, media manipulation, were in play to maintain the illusion of Gucci's freedom and autonomy. Meanwhile, rumors about the cloning escalated. Hopsin, another rapper, stoked the conspiracy when he admitted, or at least joked, on Instagram that he was Gucci's clone. Hopsin described being approached by secret agents who threatened his family if he didn't participate in covering up Gucci's supposed death. He claimed he was shown a Gucci bodysuit in an all-white room, allegedly as part of the cloning process, and that he was coerced into agreeing to the plan to protect his loved ones. Adding fuel to the fire, Gucci's ex-girlfriend Mac Brazy claimed on Instagram Live that the real Gucci had died in prison. According to her, the man walking the streets after his release wasn't the same person she had known growing up. She alleged that the clone had never spent time with Gucci's childhood friends or family because they would immediately recognize that he wasn't genuine. In interviews, she claimed, Keyshia had to guide him through what to say, acting as a literal handler to maintain the illusion. Mac even released a diss track targeting Keyshia, accusing her of hiding the truth and controlling Gucci to an unprecedented degree. Even with all this chaos, a question lingers. Could the man who emerged from prison truly be the same Gucci Mane, or was something more clandestine happening behind the scenes? To understand why this theory gained traction, it helps to look back at the history leading up to Gucci's incarceration. Before going to prison, he had multiple run-ins with the law, including violent incidents at clubs and confrontations with police. He also struggled publicly with substance abuse, particularly lean, which he admitted had consumed him for over a decade. In a heartfelt Twitter confession from prison, he wrote, "I've been drinking lean for 10+ years, and I must admit it has destroyed me. I want to be the first rapper to admit it. I'm addicted to lean, and that stuff ain't no joke. I can barely remember all the things I've done and said. However, there's no excuse. I'm currently incarcerated, but I will be going to rehab because I need help. I want to thank everyone who has stood by me during this difficult time. Please keep me in your prayers." By the time he was released, Gucci was nearly unrecognizable. His physical transformation was dramatic. From overweight and worn down, he had become fit, healthy, and polished. Even his public persona had shifted. He sounded clearer, more articulate, and more composed than before. But the timing of his transformation, coupled with the secrecy of his prison life, left room for speculation. Some fans began to wonder if the real Gucci had ever returned at all. Social media became a breeding ground for theories. Every post, appearance, and interview was scrutinized for signs that Gucci was somehow different. Fans pointed out changes in his voice, mannerisms, and even his facial expressions, claiming that they didn't align with the man they knew from his early career. Nicki Minaj's intervention intensified the speculation. Not only did she validate some of the long-standing rumors, but she also introduced the idea that Gucci's control extended far beyond what the public had imagined. Her claims about Keyshia acting as a handler added a layer of intrigue that was impossible to ignore. Some supporters of the clone theory argue that this level of control would make sense in an industry that thrives on image and narrative. A replacement Gucci could be molded to fit the expectations of fans, the music industry, and influential figures behind the scenes. Meanwhile, detractors argue that the transformation was simply a result of hard work, rehab, and personal growth. Either way, the story has become a cultural phenomenon, a mix of redemption, conspiracy, and entertainment. It forces fans to confront questions about fame, control, and authenticity. How much of the public persona of celebrities is real? How much is manufactured, manipulated, or even replaced? And most provocatively, could cloning really play a role in the lives of those in the public eye? Regardless of what one believes, Gucci Mane's narrative remains compelling. It is a tale of transformation, intrigue, and mystery. It's about a man who fell hard, confronted his demons, and walked out of prison a changed person. Or perhaps, a man so carefully remade that the world can no longer be sure who he really is. And with Nicki Minaj's revelations about Keisha's alleged role, the story becomes even more tangled. Fans are left questioning the dynamics of power, influence, and control behind closed doors, wondering whether the industry operates with invisible hands guiding the careers and lives of its biggest stars. The debate continues, online and off. Some insist the real Gucci Mane is still alive and thriving. Others believe that the legend we see today is a carefully orchestrated replacement. And through it all, Nicki Minaj's tweets, Mac Brazy's diss track, and Hobson's Instagram admissions have ensured that the conversation shows no signs of slowing down. One thing is certain: whether you buy into the cloning theories or chalk it up to growth and personal change, Gucci Mane's story has become more than music news. It's a living mystery, a cautionary tale about fame, and a cultural puzzle that refuses to be solved. The internet waits, watches, and debates. And as fans continue to analyze every photo, every song, and every interview, the truth, whatever it may be, remains tantalizingly out of reach.